Heartwarming moment, single mom discovers life-changing CEO willing to adopt her 3 kids today. In the quaint yet financially strained suburb of Elmwood, a single mother named Sarah found herself in the midst of chaos. Just days after losing her job at the local diner, the weight of her circumstances bore down on her. Bills piled high, and judgmental stares from her wealthier neighbors felt like daggers. With 3 spirited children, Emma, who sketched dreams with her colored pencils, Noah, always tinkering with bits of metal and wires, and little Mia, with a heartwarming smile that could light the darkest nights. Sarah's life wasn't just a struggle, it was a relentless pursuit of hope. One bright Saturday morning, Emma, Noah, and Mia stumbled upon flyers in their small school announcing a charity event. The idea was simple: spend the afternoon with local volunteers who were eager to make a difference. Little did they know, this would lead to a life-altering encounter. That afternoon, Jason, a successful CEO, arrived from the city, eager to lend a hand. He was tall, with a warm, inviting smile that made him seem approachable despite his polished exterior. When Sarah first met Jason, she was taken aback. His aura radiated kindness, and for a moment, her heart fluttered. Was this the light at the end of her tunnel? Watching her children laugh and play under the sun with Jason made her chest swell with a strange mix of hope and fear. Could someone like him see beyond her struggles? With every friendly interaction, he seemed genuinely interested in her family's story, and that warmed her soul. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the event progressed, laughter intertwined with the faint strains of music in the background, and Sarah found herself drawn to Jason's genuine warmth. He shared stories of his own struggles, of a childhood marked by loss and a yearning for connection. They built a rapport, sharing parenting tips, and for a moment, the weight of her world lifted. But just as hope began to bloom, the shadows of skepticism in the town reared their ugly heads. Whispers circulated: was Jason merely using Sarah and her children for his image? Just when she began to open up again, Sarah's world turned on its axis. Mia fell ill suddenly, her small body fighting a fever. Panic gripped Sarah as she rushed her daughter to the hospital, her heart racing. How could she face another financial blow? With each heartbeat echoing in her ears, she cursed the universe for the crumbling facade of stability she had fought so hard to create. As community members learned of Mia's condition, they rallied around Sarah, surprising her with meals and support. In that moment, she realized the true spirit of Elmwood, as friends and even former neighbors stood beside her. Their faith reignited her resolve. Meanwhile, Jason, watching from a distance, stepped in to help, revealing the wounds behind his polished exterior. Would she be strong enough to accept this unlikely partnership when every instinct screamed to protect her kids at all costs? As hope and fear collided in Sarah's heart, the community buzzed, wrapped in a narrative of love and sacrifice. For Sarah and Jason, the journey wasn't just about healing a sick child, it was about facing their fears together while redefining what family could mean in a world that had often cast them aside. What lay ahead would test their souls as they navigated their entwined fates. Would Sarah let down her guard and seek the love and family she hadn't dared dream of? The hospital room was a swirl of antiseptic smells and quiet beeping monitors. Sarah stood by the bed, her fingers softly brushing Mia's sweaty forehead. The steady rise and fall of Mia's tiny chest was a mix of both relief and worry. Each shallow breath felt like a tether to hope, yet uncertainty gnawed at Sarah's insides. She had dismissed Jason's earlier offer to help, her pride flaring. "I can't take charity," she had snapped. But now, in the hollow silence of the hospital, she couldn't deny the nagging thought maybe she needed more than just the support of friends. Nurse Morgan entered, her smile a warm beacon amid the clinical starkness. "Mia's stable," but the doctor wants to keep her overnight for observation. The news brought a slight lift to Sarah's heart, though her worry for her daughter still lurked like a shadow. "Can I stay with her?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper amidst the beeping machines. "Of course," Morgan replied, adjusting Mia's blanket. "Just let us know if you need anything." As Sarah settled into the uncomfortable chair beside the bed, she found herself remembering Jason's kindness. She couldn't shake the feeling that he had been different, that he'd seen more than just a struggling mom. Maybe he understood the depths of her fears better than she did herself. The warmth of that afternoon spent with him and her children began to melt some of the ice around her heart. Mending those wounds didn't seem impossible with someone like Jason by her side. That evening, she heard a soft knock on the door. To her surprise, Jason stepped inside, his presence filling the space with a comforting energy. "I hope it's okay that I came," he said softly, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on Mia. "How is she?" "She's stable," Sarah replied, her voice thick with emotion. She could see the concern etched on his face, genuine and caring. "It's just terrifying." Jason pulled up a chair across from her, leaning in slightly. "I know it must be. It's hard being a single mom. I've been through my own battles, and trust me, it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do this alone." There was a deep sincerity in his voice, and it caused Sarah to blink back tears. Could she really allow herself to open up, to find solace in someone unexpected? The thought of vulnerability terrified her, but the prospect of partnership sparked a flicker of something new hope. "Why are you doing this?" Sarah finally asked, her voice trembling. "You could be anywhere, doing anything. Yet here you are." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Because I see you, Sarah. I see what you do for your kids and how hard you fight. Not everyone gets that. It's inspiring." His eyes held hers, and for a moment, the weight of the world felt a little lighter. As they spoke, deep into the night, Sarah poured out her fears, dreams, and worries. Each word seemed to build a bridge between them, forging a connection that felt rare and necessary. Despite the storm of emotions swirling inside her, peace settled in her heart. But just as their conversation turned to dreams of the future, a knock on the door interrupted them. "Visiting hours are almost over," the nurse reminded gently. "Can I stay a little longer?" Jason asked, hesitation lacing his words, but Sarah shook her head. She wasn't sure if she was ready for what came next, to let him become a constant in their lives. As Jason left, he turned back, his expression serious. "I'm here for you, Sarah. Whenever you're ready." The uncertainty of his words hung in the air like a promise. Sarah felt the warmth of his gaze leave a lasting impression on her heart. Sheet by sheet, the walls around her were coming down, and it filled her with both excitement and dread. Now, as she held Mia's small hand, Sarah had a choice to make. Would she allow Jason to step into their lives, to help them heal, or would she turn away, back to the safety of isolation? The decision echoed in her mind as night fell around them, bringing with it a restless energy. Could she embrace a future where love and support filled their home, or would she retreat into her fears? The choices ahead felt monumental, and Sarah knew she couldn't delay much longer. Would she take the leap of faith and trust in this journey towards something greater? Mornings in hospitals felt eternally gray, a stark contrast to the flickers of hope that danced in Sarah's heart. She sat in the chair, still holding Mia's hand, tracing the little girl's fingers with soft caresses. Mia had finally drifted back into a peaceful sleep, her breathing steady, granting Sarah a much-needed moment of reprieve. But as the light from the window filtered through the sterile curtains, she felt the weight of decisions looming over her. While the world outside continued its mundane hustle, inside the room, she faced an internal battle. Jason's face popped into her mind, his words echoing through the corridors of her thoughts. "You don't have to do this alone." She could still feel the warmth behind his gaze. Could she let him in? Could she conquer the fear that held her back, Sarah shook her head slightly, trying to clear the lingering thoughts. For so long, she had convinced herself that asking for help was a failure, a crack in the armor she had built to protect her family. But with every day of this new challenge, that belief felt more like poison. As if on cue, a gentle knock on the door broke her thoughts. Nurse Morgan stepped in, her demeanor always cheerful despite the circumstances. "How's my favorite girl?" she asked quietly, glancing at Mia nestled in the blankets. "She's good. Just sleeping," Sarah replied, a smile peeking through her worry. "That's great to hear. The doctor will check in soon." Morgan pulled out a small tray of food. "You really should eat something. You need your strength." Sarah's stomach churned at the thought of food, but she nodded nonetheless. "Okay. Thanks." As the nurse left, Sarah turned her attention back to Mia's peaceful face. Expressions of motherhood danced across her heartstrings, the kind that tethered her deeply to her daughter. She couldn't fail her. It was a stark reminder of why stepping out of her comfort zone was necessary. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Jason walked in, carrying 2 steaming cups of coffee. His face lit up when he saw Sarah. "I thought you might need a little caffeine boost," he said, offering her one. "Thank you," she said, genuinely touched. It felt surprisingly normal to have someone care, to share a moment of warmth amidst the chill of the hospital. Jason settled into the chair beside her, his expression shifting to concern as he glanced at Mia. "She looks peaceful." "That's good." "It is. I just wish I could ease her pain." "All of it." The weight of Sarah's words hung heavy in the air. Jason leaned closer, intensity in his eyes. "You're doing everything you can. And that's not nothing. You're an incredible mom, Sarah." His words ignited a fire in her. With each breath, she could feel her heart shifting, making space for hope. "Can I ask you something?" she ventured, her voice cautious but steady. "Why do you care so much? I mean, you barely know me." He paused, taking a sip of his coffee before meeting her gaze. "I care because I've seen people struggle. I've seen how one little act of kindness can change everything. You're fighting for your life and your kids. Who wouldn't want to help in a situation like that?" His honesty struck a chord. Sarah felt a tear escape, slipping down her cheek. "I'm scared, Jason. Scared of failing, scared to let someone in, even you." He reached out, gently squeezing her hand. "And that's okay. Fear can open the doors to something beautiful, too. You don't have to make a decision today, but why not start with letting me help? No strings attached." Sarah looked down at their hands. She felt the softness of what he was offering. A lifeline, a light in the daunting darkness. More than just a connection, an opportunity to share her burdens rather than shoulder them alone. Maybe I could start with a coffee date?" she suggested, a hint of nervous laughter escaping her. Jason smiled, a real, warm smile that melted a little more of her anxiety away. "I'd like that. No pressure. Just 2 friends getting to know each other." As they shared tentative smiles, Sarah knew she stood at the edge of a new beginning. Her past fears still whispered caution, but the flicker of hope in her chest promised the possibility of healing. But even as excitement bubbled within her, another thought loomed. What if she let him in and then things went wrong? Outside the hospital room, the world beckoned with uncertainty. With possibilities hanging thick in the air, Sarah realized the simple truth: she would have to brave the unknown to maneuver toward a brighter future. The next couple of days would be crucial. But little did she know, a twist was waiting just around the corner, one that might change everything once again. The next morning dawned gray yet again, but for Sarah, the color of the day felt different. The anticipation of her coffee date with Jason buzzed in her veins like lightning, making the hospital room feel less stifling. Mia was still nestled in her bed, wrapped in soft blankets that contrasted with the harshness of her situation. The little girl's fragile state had become a part of their routine, not easy, but an acceptance that Sarah was learning to adapt to. As the clock approached noon, Sarah found herself pausing every now and then, an absent smile crossing her lips as she replayed her conversation with Jason in her mind. He had this uncanny ability to both ease her burdens and ignite a spark of excitement in the predictability of her life. Transfixed by her thoughts, she barely noticed when Nurse Morgan came in to check on Mia. "She's doing remarkably well today," the nurse remarked, her clipboard in hand, eyes bright with hope. "We may be able to adjust her treatment soon. There's been some promising data on her condition." Sarah's heart leapt at the words. "Really? That's fantastic. I can't remember the last time I felt hopeful like this." Morgan grinned, a knowing twinkle in her eyes. "Keep holding on to that hope, Sarah. It's your strongest tool." As the nurse adjusted the foredrip, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. Today could be a turning point. After so long, a glimpse of possibility emerged where once only fear had been. Perhaps she would allow herself to start believing again. Later that afternoon, she slipped out of Mia's room, her heart racing with both excitement and trepidation. The coffee shop downstairs felt like a hidden gem, tucked away from the sterile expanse of the hospital corridors. She hadn't realized how much she needed a break, a chance to breathe and just be Sarah, not the worried mother living in a hospital. When she entered the shop, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wrapped around her like a warm hug. Her eyes scanned the small crowd, searching for Jason. The moment she found him at a corner table, an unexpected weight lifted off her shoulders. He was wearing that soft gray hoodie again, the one that made him look approachable yet confident. "Hey, you made it!" he exclaimed, standing to pull out a chair for her as she approached. The casual gesture sent a wave of warmth through her. "I wasn't sure if I'd find the courage to come," she admitted, breaking into a smile. "Courage found you," he replied, his voice light but sincere. "How's Mia today?" "A little better, maybe. The nurses are optimistic. I really needed to get out, though. Thank you for inviting me." She settled into her chair, feeling the comfort of normalcy settle around her. Jason nodded, a knowing expression on his face. "I get it. It's easy to get lost in a place like that. But I want you to know it's okay to be here too. You deserve a break." Their conversation flowed easily, filled with laughter and shared moments that felt rewarding. Different from the stony silence that often filled hospital rooms. As they swapped stories and sipped their drinks, it became increasingly easier to share more of herself, her dreams, her fears, and her struggles. "Have you always wanted to be a mom?" Jason asked, genuine curiosity lacing his voice. "I have. It's hard with everything going on, but I love them fiercely," she replied, a resolute glow in her eyes. "Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but they're my everything." Their connection deepened with each shared confession. Sarah suddenly felt a part of something larger than her burdens, a friendship blooming before her eyes. Just as she felt the room warm with possibility, the door swung open. A tall figure stepped inside, and all heads turned. Sarah's breath caught the unmistakable high-profile face of a local CEO, known for their philanthropy and community involvement, walked in. Jason followed her gaze. "Wow, that's Parker Remington." The unexpected presence sent a ripple of unease through Sarah. What did this mean for her day? As the CEO's eyes scanned the room, Sarah felt a sudden rush of self-doubt. Was he here for a reason, or just another reminder that she was still at the mercy of fate? Unbeknownst to her, Jason noticed the shift in her demeanor. "You okay?" But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling. What if their meeting today spiraled into something she never saw coming? Beneath the surface of this unexpected encounter, her instinct whispered that change was on the horizon. And as her heart raced, she couldn't help but wonder, was this day about to become something much more significant than just coffee? Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as Parker Remington moved through the coffee shop. The chatter in the room barely masked the palpable shift in energy. The CEO's presence drew attention, and even Jason seemed captivated by the man's charisma. But for Sarah, it felt more like a lightning bolt of anxiety striking through her moment of peace. She clutched her cup tightly, its warmth grounding her in the swirling sea of uncertainty. Parker's eyes eventually fell on their table. A brief moment of recognition sparked something in her. Did he recognize her from the hospital? She knew he was involved with countless charitable projects, but his eyes delving into hers felt different, like a connection, or perhaps a judgment. "Are you sure you're okay?" Jason's concerned voice broke through her racing thoughts. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Yeah, I'm fine," she replied, though the tremor in her voice told a different story. "Just a little surprised, I guess." Jason shifted in his seat, his eyes flickering back toward the CEO. "He's here all the time for events. Great guy. Rumor has it he's been investing in local charities, especially ones related to children's health." Though his enthusiasm was meant to reassure her, it only sank her deeper into her unease. "Great," Sarah muttered under her breath, almost sarcastically. "Just what I need. Another reminder of how out of control my life feels right now." "Hey, don't let it get to you," Jason said gently. "You're doing the best you can. Mia is going to be okay." Gazing at Jason, she felt a flicker of hope, but her focus shifted back to Parker as he made his way towards them. Close up, his presence magnified, he radiated confidence in every step. "Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice you sitting here," Parker said, his voice rich and engaging. "I'm Parker Remington. It's always refreshing to see familiar faces in a coffee shop." Jason greeted him with an eager smile. "Nice to meet you. I'm Jason. This is Sarah." "Pleasure to meet you both," Parker replied, extending a hand. Sarah reluctantly shook his hand, flushing slightly with nervousness. "Are you from around here?" Parker asked, his politeness making it hard for her to view him as just some high-profile businessman. She caught herself off guard, her voice steadying even as her insides churned. "I'm mostly just at the hospital these days." His expression shifted, attentively curious. "Family?" "Mia, my daughter. She's in treatment," Sarah replied softly, the weight of her words hitting her like a wave. For a moment, vulnerability washed over her, mentally stealing her composure. Parker's eyes softened. "I hope everything goes well. I know that can be a tough journey." "Thanks," she managed, the soothing sincerity in his tone surprising her. Suddenly, Jason interjected. "Are you involved with any children's charities yourself?" "Absolutely. I believe so deeply in supporting children and families in need," Parker said, turning to Jason. "I started an initiative to fund treatments for critical illnesses like the one Sarah's daughter is facing." Sarah's heartbeat quickened again, her thoughts racing. Could this man possibly be a lifeline in her chaotic world? If he was reaching out to her, it could be out of pity or genuine concern. It terrified her to think of whom he might represent, the tension built in the air. "Would you be open to discussing opportunities that could help your family?" Parker continued, a glimmer of determination in his eyes. For a moment, Sarah felt frozen, the coffee shop around her fading into an indistinct blur. Jason's hopeful glance nudged her, he seemed confident that this was a moment worth seizing. But could she really let herself trust this stranger? Her gut twisted with both fear and hope, pulling her in two directions. She stammered, her mind racing with possibilities. If Parker could help, what would that mean for Mia? For all of them? Just then, Parker's gaze shifted, and Sarah followed it to the door where another group of people had entered, hospital staff, one of whom looked directly at her. It felt like the walls were closing in. "Are you all right?" Jason pressed, concern etched on his face as he picked up on her distress. The moment begged the question, was she prepared to take a leap of faith? And as the weight of their eyes bore down on her, she knew that this moment could lead to something bigger than coffee and small talk. How many choices could alter everything she thought she knew? Could opening her heart lead her to a brighter tomorrow, or would it bring heartbreak instead? Now the biggest decision lay ahead of her. One promise could offer hope or crush it completely. "Sarah?" Parker asked, breaking through the clamor in her mind. "We can really help, but could she really embrace it?" Sarah's breaths came in quick bursts, echoing the chaos unleashing in her mind. The coffee shop felt both too small and too loud, as if the room itself was pressing in on her. She locked eyes with Parker, his intense gaze searching for something in her. Did he see her fear? The weight of her circumstances? "Are you sure I can trust this?" she thought, her mind racing through a maze of emotions. Mia's fragile state since the diagnosis felt like a dark fog hanging over her, and now Parker seemed like a beacon or a test. "Sarah?" Parker repeated softly, as if coaxing her to step away from the edge of a looming decision. "I wouldn't ask if I didn't mean it." His sincerity caught her off guard. The CEO of a thriving company wanting to help her? Wasn't he that too good to be true? She glanced at Jason, who smiled at her, filled with unspoken encouragement. The two of them had faced countless challenges together, but this felt different, monumental. Would this be their way out? "Mia's treatment is expensive," she finally managed, her words stumbling over one another as they poured out. "I don't want to get my hopes up." "I understand completely," he interrupted gently, his voice warm. "It's a big decision. But my foundation has been at the forefront of changing many lives, including children like Mia. I'd like to offer your family support that goes beyond just financial help." "What does that mean?" she asked, feeling the tension shift in the air. His expression was serious, as though he was revealing a piece of himself, something raw and personal. "It means access to the best specialists, help navigating the healthcare system, even emotional support for you and Mia." He paused, emphasizing his next words. "You wouldn't be facing this alone anymore." Sarah's heart raced, tearing at the walls she had built around herself. The thought of letting someone in after all this time, especially a man like Parker, was daunting. But what if this was a chance to break free from the dread that loomed over her? A wave of gratitude flickered within her, quickly overshadowed by another thought. "Why?" she murmured, her eyes casting downward toward the table, tracing the rim of her cup as panic curled back. "Why do you care?" Parker exhaled, his shoulders relaxing. "Because I care about giving families hope. I've seen too many struggle in silence, fighting battles they shouldn't have to fight alone. Maybe it's personal for me, too. I think we all deserve a fighting chance." As he spoke, Sarah felt an unexpected warmth seep into her chest. Was this what hope felt like? Could it really be true? Just as she began to envision a life without constant dread, the waitress arrived at their table, audibly breaking the moment. "Sorry to interrupt, but do you need anything else?" Parker's gaze didn't waver, locked onto Sarah, even as the waitress busied herself with drinks. "We were just talking about the future," he said, a hint of determination in his tone. "And if you're willing, I'd like to help create a brighter one for you and Mia." In that moment, Sarah's heart trembled with both fear and possibility. She had always been so careful, her walls protecting her from yet another disappointment. But this was different. Could she unravel those walls, piece by piece, and allow someone to help lift the weight she had shouldered alone for too long? She took a breath, searching within herself for courage. "I'd like that, but how do I know I can trust you?" "Trust takes time," Parker acknowledged. "But I promise you, every intention I have is to be a positive force. We can start with one conversation. Let us take it step by step." Sarah bit her lip, watching as the conversations around them blurred into a backdrop. Jason's nod encouraged her, and despite the fear gnawing at her, she found a flicker of belief blossoming inside. "Okay," she finally said, her voice steady now. "Let us talk." As she agreed, waves of relief washed over her, slowly replacing the anxiety that had gripped her heart. But with the door slightly ajar to a new possibility, a flicker of doubt nagged at her. What if this was all just a prelude to more pain? The conversation stretched into the rest of the afternoon, filled with promises and ideas. But that heady mix of hope and anxiety tugged at her, making her wonder how much she was truly willing to risk. The moment of truth loomed ahead. If she let Parker in, was she prepared to open herself up to the unknown? And as the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows in the coffee shop, she realized this was just the beginning. The question now was, what awaited her when darkness settled in? Their conversation became a tapestry of shared worries and dreams, weaving a connection Sarah hadn't anticipated. Ideas floated freely between them, each one lifting her spirits just a little higher. Parker spoke with passion, outlining the resources his foundation could provide. Specialists, therapy, even community programs that could create a support network. Each word felt like a lifeline. Imagine Mia surrounded by people who understand what she's facing, he said, his voice steady. A community that rallies around her. It's not just about treatment, it's about fighting for her life together. Sarah's heart began to race again, this time in a different way. Could it be possible? A team behind her and Mia, people who genuinely cared? It felt like a sun breaking through the clouds after a storm, illuminating a path she had thought lost forever. Let us meet again, Parker suggested, his eyes sparkling with hope. I can arrange for you to talk to some families we've helped. You'll see firsthand how it makes a difference. Just then, the bustling sounds of the cafe shifted again, puncturing the bubble they'd created. Sarah felt her surroundings return, the chatter of distant tables suddenly blaring. She glanced over at Jason, who had been listening intently, and caught the wide smile on his face. He was excited for her, and that made her heart swell with gratitude. Okay, she said, almost breathless. I'd like that. Yet, even as excitement began to unfurl inside her, doubt crept back in with a chilling reminder. Was she ready to let this man into her life? What if he changed his mind? What if this all crumbled like a house of cards? Parker, she paused, her voice trembling a little, what if this goes south? What if it all disappears? He leaned closer, his expression softening. Life is unpredictable. I get it. But you have to take that first step to see where it leads. His sincerity sliced through her hesitations, and she felt a glimmer of resolve forming. I don't know if I can take that leap, she admitted. The walls she had built were still lingering, but now they felt porous. A part of her wanted to break free, to truly believe that brighter days could come. Parker nodded, meeting her gaze with his unwavering confidence. You're stronger than you think. And you're already making progress just by considering this. Remember, even the smallest step counts. His words felt like an embrace, subtle yet powerful. She looked down at her trembling hands, imagining what it could be like to let go of all the burdens she had carried. Maybe she began, hesitance threading through her voice. Maybe I can try. But I need to know that I'm not alone if I do this. You won't be alone, he assured her. I'm committed, and so are the people around us. Give this a chance, Sarah. You may be surprised at the strength you find within. As they exchanged numbers and pledged their next meeting, the air in the coffee shop felt lighter. A first step had been taken, yet shadows still lingered at the edges of her mind. Sarah could sense the weight of skepticism still clinging to her heart. As she and Jason walked out into the cool evening air, she felt both exhilarated and terrified. Do you really think this will work? She asked Jason, her voice barely above a whisper. I think it's a chance we can't afford to miss, he replied. You have to trust yourself and what you're feeling. In that moment, Sarah understood trusting herself would be the greatest battle yet. Even as she stepped away from the cafe, a swirl of hope and fear washed over her like a tidal wave. What if Parker's promise was real? What if it all unraveled before her? The sun dipped completely below the horizon, leaving only a sliver of light behind. Sarah felt the uncertainty close in again, heavy and consuming. As she and Jason parted ways, she wondered if she had the courage to face whatever came next. With the night sky stretching out above her, she knew the next decision would be crucial. Who would she choose to trust when morning finally came? The morning light broke through her bedroom window, casting soft patterns on the floor. Sarah lay awake, the weight of the night's decision pressing down on her. The promise of a community, a lifeline for Mia, felt like a fleeting dream glimmering just out of reach. Today was the day she needed to find clarity. She rolled over and glanced at her phone, heart racing as she remembered her meeting with Parker later in the day. Could she really allow herself to hope for something better? Wasn't it easier to stay within the confines of her comfort, even if it meant enduring the shadows that seemed to loom forever over her life and Mia's? After a few moments of hesitation, she swung her legs over the side of the bed. She needed to be strong not just for herself, but for Mia. When she pushed herself up, a rush of resolve surged through her. Today, she would put one foot in front of the other and rediscover who she could be. The sweet scent of pancakes wafted through the air as she made her way to the kitchen. Mia was sitting at the table, her bright orange pajama top clashing wonderfully with her deep brown eyes, fiercely attempting to finish a drawing. "Mom! Look!" Mia exclaimed, her face lighting up as she showcased a scribbled rainbow bursting from the center of the page. It was messy and imperfect, but to Sarah, it was pure magic. "It's beautiful, sweetheart." Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "Just like you." For a moment, Sarah lost herself in that smile, a smile that reminded her why she had to keep fighting. But as reality crept in, she felt the familiar knot of anxiety tightening in her stomach. "Mia, there's something I need to talk to you about," she said, kneeling by Mia's side. "I met someone who wants to help us help you. His name is Parker." Mia's brow furrowed. "Help us? How?" Sarah took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. "He's got ideas for programs and for people who can support you, things that can help you feel better." "Like magic?" Mia chirped, her innocence bursting forth like a sunbeam. "Exactly like magic," Sarah replied softly, her resolve faltering under the weight of her daughter's sweet trust. "But there's also a chance that we'll need to open ourselves up to a whole new world of possibilities." Mia gazed up at her, seriousness filling her small features. "Are you scared?" The honesty of the question took Sarah off guard. "Yes, a little. But I think it's okay to feel that way sometimes." "Do you think we'll have friends?" Mia asked, her fingers fidgeting with the edges of her drawing. "I hope so. I really hope so." A soft moment of silence enveloped them, each lost in their thoughts. Sarah battled the rising tide of fear within her. Was she ready to relinquish the tight hold she had on the life they knew? Mia suddenly brightened again. "Then we could take the first step together. Like the rainbow. We could get to the other side." Sarah chuckled, feeling the lightness in her heart. It was a brilliant idea. Perhaps trust was indeed wrapped in the colors of a child's imagination. As they finished breakfast, her phone buzzed, jolting her from the moment. It was Parker, reminding her of their meeting. Sarah's stomach twisted a mixture of excitement and fear, but she also felt Mia's unwavering faith next to her. "I have to go meet Parker after this," Sarah said. "Will you be okay while I'm gone?" Mia nodded, her little face full of determination. "Just be brave, Mom. Go find the magic." After dropping Mia off with a friend, Sarah found herself stepping into Parker's office building. The modern architecture loomed over her like a giant. Taking a deep breath, she pushed through the glass doors, ready to face the unknown. The lobby buzzed with life as she walked toward the elevators, her heart pulsating. But fear wouldn't win today. She couldn't let it. She stepped inside the elevator, a weight lifting slightly as the doors slid shut. As she exhaled slowly, she reminded herself that this was not just about her. It was about Mia, and about their future. Maybe it was time to trust, to take that leap of faith she had been so afraid of. But deep down, she couldn't shake the question lingering in her mind: what if the magic led to a place she couldn't return from? When the elevator dinged at the top floor, the doors glided open, revealing Parker and a world full of possibilities waiting beyond. Sarah stepped out of the elevator, the fresh scent of polished wood and faint jasmine greeting her. The open concept office stretched out before her, a blend of seriousness and creativity. She could see teams huddled over desks, deep in conversation, while others were animatedly brainstorming. But in that moment, all she could focus on was the tall figure approaching her from the far end of the room. "Parker," she called out, trying to manage nerves that knotted inside her. "Sarah. Glad you made it." He greeted her with a warm smile that made the heaviness in her chest lighten a bit. "Thanks for having me," she replied, feeling the corners of her mouth turn up in a weak smile of her own. Parker motioned for her to follow him to a conference room bathed in natural light. As they entered, he gestured toward a plush chair. "Please, sit. I want to hear about you and Mia." As she settled into the chair, Sarah found comfort in the bright, inspiring view from the window. It overlooked a park bustling with people joggling, playing, and laughing. For a fleeting moment, a vision of her and Mia in that park sparked inside her, a day filled with joy instead of darkness. She held onto it like a lifeline. "It's just been hard," Sarah began. The words spilled out like confetti. "We've faced a lot in the past. I want better for Mia. She deserves to be happy." "I understand," Parker nodded, his expression sincere. "That's why I'm here. My focus is on creating community programs to support families like yours." The passion in his voice sparked a flicker of hope within her. "What exactly do you have in mind?" "I want to implement programs dedicated to mental health support, creative arts, recreational activities, all aimed at building connections. The idea is to break down barriers that often isolate families." Parker leaned forward, intensity in his gaze. "But I want to hear your thoughts. What's keeping you up at night?" It felt as if a dam had broken inside Sarah as she shared her fears. "I'm terrified of failing Mia. I fear giving her hope and then not being able to provide." She paused, swallowing back a tide of emotions. "What if I can't deliver?" "Hope is everything," Parker reassured her firmly. "You're already here, taking steps. We'll build a bridge together for Mia. It won't happen overnight, but know this, you won't be alone." His words resonated deep within Sarah, soothing the anxiety that churned. For the first time, she felt a glimpse of what it could mean to be part of something bigger than herself, a community where Mia could be safe, embraced, and uplifted. "What about other families?" she asked cautiously, feeling vulnerable. "How can we be sure it really helps them too?" "That's why I need your voice. We need to work directly with those who need support." Parker smiled, a knowing twinkle in his eye. "Mia's perspective, your story, those are the foundations of this program. Together, we can make something magical." Sarah's heart raced with the thrill of possibility, but a nagging doubt still held its grip. "I want to believe in this, but fear is powerful. What if it all falls apart?" "Fear does have a loud voice," Parker acknowledged. "But courage is whispering too, inviting you to step into the world of potential. What if instead, you allowed yourself to trust?" As she sat back, a sense of calm washed over her, blending with the chaotic excitement churning inside. Trust, she realized, was not just about believing in Parker's plans, it was about believing in herself again, a chance to reshape their lives. "Let me think," she replied, exhaling slowly, weighing each option carefully. "It sounds incredible." "Take your time," Parker urged gently. "But know that the magic of community awaits you whenever you're ready. Just imagine a life where Mia can thrive alongside friends. Does that resonate?" Sarah contemplated his words and the vision it painted. Could she really envision that life? And just as that thought settled in her mind, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Fumbling, she pulled it out to see Mia's name flashing on the screen, her heart skipping a beat. "Excuse me for a moment," she said, glancing up only to find Parker watching her curiously. "Mia's calling. Take it." Parker encouraged, a reassuring smile on his face. As Sarah answered, a burst of giggles erupted on the other end, washing away worries momentarily. "Mom! You won't believe what I just drew." In that instant, Sarah felt the warm glow of connection flooding her heart. Perhaps this journey was more than she expected. But as she spoke with Mia, another unsettling thought crept in. Would the magic they were searching for be strong enough to weather the storms that lay ahead? The conversation lingered, filled with laughter and hope, but as she clicked off, a familiar whisper echoed in the back of her mind. Would it truly be worth the risk? The sun shone brightly over Elmwood as Sarah stood in a community park filled with laughter, children playing, and families enjoying the day. It was a far cry from the hospital hallways where she had spent so many anxious hours. Today, Mia was on the mend, and the vibrant colors of the park mirrored the blossoming hope within Sarah's heart. Just a few weeks had passed since that pivotal coffee meeting with Parker. With his words still resonating in her mind, she had taken the plunge, choosing to trust in the possibilities he presented. Together, they had initiated programs designed to create a supportive network for families facing similar battles. Sarah watched as her daughter drew with her friends on the soft green grass, their laughter now a melody she thought would never return. Nearby, Jason had been a steadfast support, joining their efforts. He played games with Noah and Emma, their cheers buoyed by the camaraderie of shared challenges. Sarah felt tears prick at her eyes as she looked back at how far they had come. The shadows that once clouded her heart began to dissipate, replaced by a warm glow of gratitude for the community that rallied around them. "Mom! Look!" Mia's voice called out, interrupting Sarah's thoughts as she approached with a wide grin, muddy fingers holding up her colorful artwork. "It's our family in the park." It was a crayon drawing of 4 figures, each distinct and smiling brightly under a sun, larger than life. Sarah knelt beside her, her heart swelling. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," she breathed, wrapping her arms around Mia. "Just like you." Their hug seemed to crush the last of Sarah's doubt. She had worried so long about allowing someone to help, fearful of letting her guard down. "Can you believe we're finally doing this?" Mia asked, eyes sparkling with excitement. "All of us." Sarah released a soft laugh, her heart full. "Yes, I can. And it's just going to get better." Another laugh erupted from behind as Emma and Noah joined, their faces beaming, emboldened by the friendships they had made through this community. Their bonds had grown in ways Sarah had only dreamed of previously. Together, they supported one another as single parents, sharing dinners, sorrows, and laughter. Just then, a familiar figure approached. Parker, his presence warm and inviting, waved as he joined them. "Hey, everyone! How is it looking over here?" His voice was rich with enthusiasm, and Sarah felt an instant warmth at his approach. She had grown comfortable with Parker's presence. He was no longer just a businessman, he had become a partner in their journey. "It's wonderful!" Mia exclaimed, pulling him down to her level to share her masterpiece. "Look at our family." The corners of Parker's lips turned up in a genuine smile as he admired the drawing. For the first time since they had met, Sarah let herself relax, feeling the connection amplify around her. "Mia's amazing, she captures so much joy," Parker remarked. Then, with a glance at Sarah, he added, "And you have created a wonderful space for her to thrive. You've embraced the community like I knew you would." The notion filled Sarah with pride. The fears of her past seemed like distant memories, clouded by the beautiful reality of the present. She stood taller now, her family's well-being taking precedence over any hesitation she once harbored. "Let us talk about the next steps," Parker suggested, guiding her to one side. "The programs are taking off, and families are starting to come together. I can see the impact you're making, Sarah. Thank you for believing in us," she replied, her voice steady. I never thought I would be part of something like this. Together, we're creating a brighter future. His eyes sparkled with encouragement. That's what hope looks like. And it's spreading further than we imagined. You're an inspiration, and you deserve to embrace every bit of it. Just then, loud cheers erupted nearby. Mom, come quick! Noah shouted as a group of children raced toward the swings. Sarah turned back to Parker, feeling the weight of his gaze supportive. I hope you're ready for some chaos, she chuckled, leading him toward the joyous noise. As they joined the ruckus, Sarah felt an unmistakable sense of release. This was her new normal, filled with laughter, love, and connection. Healing came in waves, but she had learned to ride each one, buoyed by the family she forged within the community. Through all the challenges, they had emerged stronger. The warmth of newfound hope illuminated the path before her, glimmering with possibilities. Surrounded by her children and friends, Sarah understood now that she didn't have to do this alone. The colors of a bright, supportive family were shining just like Mia's crayon rainbow. With joy sparkling in her soul, Sarah took a deep breath and embraced everything this life they had built and the love they had invited in. Hold tight to hope and trust in the journey, because every step taken together leads to transformation beyond what one could ever dream. If you've loved this journey as much as Sarah and her family have, then this is your moment to make a difference. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories filled with inspiration. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep incredible stories like this one alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.